Please slowly open your eyes, keeping the focus on the topic we are going to deal with. So, Yam Niyam. I think most of you would be familiar with those two terms. If somebody asks you, how can you in one small sentence summarize Yam and Niyam? So that's it. It's the universal values in daily life. Yesterday we had two youth dealing with Riti, Kshama, Davosteyam, one in Hindi and probably one in English. It links to that same objective. And these are universal values because whether someone is from Arya Samaj or from Hindu or non-Hindu, or even he doesn't believe in God, the atheist, he should be comfortable when you explain that to him, and it's really universal. The objectives of that, eventually Yoga Darshan also is going to bring you to Samadhi and Moksha. But that is the final objective. Let's look at the interim objectives, in between objectives. The in-between objectives are the Yam Niyam will bring you to the same position of Madhur Bhava, be human. The question arises, we are all born in the human species. Then why be human? So we don't remain human only by form, but by what the rishis taught us. Man, Vani, और शरीर से हम मानव बने. Man is from your thoughts, include also their emotions. Vani is speech, your words, whether expressed or written. That also we should be careful, because when we tend to think of words, we tend only to think of speech, but when we write, we can write something else. And the last one is physical actions which we do. So I won't go into the details of it, you already know it, you can read it. I'll just brush about non-violence in all forms. Satya, be truthful, that was also extensively dealt yesterday. Asteya, non-stealing. Brahmacharya, self-restraint. And aparigraha, non-hoarding. One question, non-violence, where does that start from? Somebody is violent or somebody is non-violent, where does that start from? Yes?
I think it starts from inside, how you control your emotions, your feelings, anger.
It always starts from the mind. But at times we are so fast in reacting that we've not given ourselves a pause to think whether we are on the right track, and we commit so many blunders. And those become violent deeds. Likewise, truth, asteya, one tricky question there. You're walking on the road, one tree, from inside the branches are on the road, and beautiful fruits are there. And you pluck it. What is that? That is steya, stealing. You've downloaded something where license should have been paid and you don't pay for that. What is that? So the subtle way of putting those concepts, those teachings into life, we have to be careful with them. At times we just take for granted nobody will say anything. But when you sit down, calm, and reflect over each and every of your actions, then you start getting things moving into your life. Because when you understand these concepts, then you can easily apply them. At times it's difficult to say go by it 100%, but if you start somewhere, someday you will definitely come to the final destination. But if you just cross your arms and say, no, that is impossible, you will never reach the destination. And I'll draw some emphasis on the next word, aparigraha. Aparigraha, non-hoarding, non-accumulation. Unfortunately, the world we are living today, when we need probably 5 sets of clothes to run for a year, we are keeping 50 in our closets. When we need 2 pairs of shoes, probably to go to school, because when one is dirty and you have to wash it out, you need the next one as spare. But you keep 5 pairs and 10 pairs. These are forms of hoarding, accumulation of things which probably, among them, so many you will never use, and one day you'll just dump it into the trash.
We're taking questions now or at the end?
I'll just be taking them at the end because I'm going to settle things now. This is one way of non-accumulation. Like you have, unfortunately we see it in the Western world also, and that's coming even to India and even to my country, Mauritius. You have the big superstores doing promotions on so many articles. Then you say, okay, probably I need 6 boxes of this thing for 1 year, especially foodstuffs. But we've forgotten to check the expiry date, or best before date. And we bought a dozen. After 3 months or 6 months, when we go back to it, then we see that it's gone beyond the expiry date, and we just throw it away. So the hard-earned money of our parents are just going down the drains. And you know, one beautiful thing to quote, Ban Ki-moon was the former UN Secretary General. We had the Small Island Developing States Conference in Mauritius. He came there. No, he came on another issue. One statement which he made and goes directly with aparigraha. He said the world today is living in a situation where we believe we have a second planet full of resources by our side. When it's being depleted here, we'll just take it from there and bring it here. And this is what we all believe in. So we need to be careful on what are the resources we use. Like often, we get a sheet of paper. We've used one side or wrongly printed the thing on this side. We need a fresh copy, we've printed it on a fresh sheet. But this unused part, we don't care for that and we just tear it and throw it in the trash. So we are working very hard to earn, but then how are we spending that? So that's why instead of working for 25 years, earn and then you can go into the next phase of life, you work till for probably 40, 50, 60 years again down the line. Because the resources have not been properly channeled into useful functions. Oh, okay. Just forget the ahimsa with short because I have just gone through it and copied and paste. Soch is always, we tend to take it to be external cleanliness. But thoughts keep your mind, keep your heart pure. I always tell people, those who go to mandir, first thing when you go to enter the mandir, what do? Put off your shoes and sandals. But do you put off the garbage in the mind and in the heart before going into the mandir? This is the real thing which brings you towards spirituality. I'm not talking about the rituals or prayers, etc. I'm talking about things practical in life. The day you start with analyzing the things and start filtering down into your lives gradually, slowly. After 6 months, when you look back, you won't recognize you were standing there. The transformation on daily basis, you won't notice. But gradually, slowly, after 3 months, after 6 months, when you look back, then you realize the change you brought in your life. Santosh, content. Another subtle thing of it. Santosh, be content. But if you've done a work for somebody, he had to pay you $100. He got a problem and he said, look, I have only 50 which I can give to you. The day I'll give you the balance. What is the general tendency? We think the person has cheated us and we get frustrated. But if we take it the other way around and say, okay, probably he's genuine, but then I've done my part of the job. That which he has not done is his karma. I've done my karma 100%. Whatever is left I didn't get, I leave it in the hands of the Almighty. So that becomes that $50 which I have not got goes into my nishkam karma when I'm not frustrated, I'm not angry. If I just blaze up the fire, get angry and everything, so I'm lost because I'm creating more negative karma. So that's one approach. When you've done your job, Purusharth, 100% physical and mental efforts, you've not got 100% of the results that you were expecting, leave it. That becomes your nishkam, selfless karma. Tapa, austerities, why is it needed? I take it from the youth perspective. How many of you are used to cleaning your own rooms? That's good, most of you. This is part of the teaching of life, because when you go to college and universities, you are staying in the hostels, you have to do your own things. And if you've not been trained for that, and you've not tried to do your own job by your own self, when you go there, then you find that the whole world is crumbling on your head. So that's why austerities allow you to be resilient under adverse conditions. It gives you that stamina to go overcome these adverse, difficult situations. Then comes the tricky question. I'm leaving things in between which I feel you would easily understand. Arya Pratinidhi. I told you that these are universal values. Somebody who is not from the Arya Samaj background or from the Hindu background, he asks you, but Arya Pratinidhi, Ishwar is the Hindu God. So how do you do with it? How do you handle that? It means surrender to God. Look what I've written there. It's also to the laws in the creation. The laws in the creation is universal. Gravity is there for the Hindu, it's likewise for the Muslims, for the Christians, for the other believers or even non-believers. Water is always flowing from the mountain to the rivers. It can't go the reverse side. The reverse process is another thing. Evaporates from seas and lakes and become clouds and then go back as rain. So these laws which God has created in the creation or the universe. These are universal. So once you start respecting the laws of the universe, the laws of the creation, so you are surrendering yourself before the Creator. And if you look at all these 9 precepts before, the 5 Yam and the 4 Niyam before, it leads you to that same thing. Because those are the ways and means to empower you to become a good human being. Yeah, this is where now I start focusing. I won't be long. I already talked about that. Manasa vacha karmana. By applying your mind, controlling your emotions, just harnessing those things, then you'll be harnessing your words, your speech, and your writings. Then it's easy to get hold of the situation and act accordingly. Because, as I said, we are living in a fast world. We don't give ourselves time to give a second thought to what we are going to do. And the divine guidance lies within the self, the inner voice, Antara. If you just give a pause there, 30 seconds probably, and just listen to that inner voice, if things on the wrong track, you start catching things like fear, doubt, and when things are good, you'll get the drive to go ahead. Anand, Umang, Ullas. Otherwise, the reverse is by Shanka, Lajja. Fear, doubt, and usually when people do crooked things, they do it in the hiding. Now they are the white-collar crimes, they don't do it in the open, but when they are caught, then it's the whole career and lifetime which has been finished. Be careful. We tend to think of things in our karma which we do on our own. Another aspect of it is karit. The first one is krit, when you do it yourself. The second one is karit, when you prompt others to do things. That also become your karma. And then anubodhit, where you give your consent. And consent can be silence. Because say there's been a group of friends who decide to do something which is really bad. And they want to have the general opinion of everybody of the group. And you find that most of them are going on the wrong track, so I better remain silent, otherwise they will drop me off the group. But if you remain silent, they will say you've given your consent. Generally, you know, in crooked things, how the vote is taken, they won't say how many people agree to that. They will always say how many disagree. Please raise your hands. How many will dare to raise their hands? If it's by secret ballot, probably yes. But generally in meetings or in informal meetings, it's always by show of hands. So you don't want to be the odd man out. So you be careful. Then Man Vani Sharira. This is another free. We'll go to another concept now. How do you do these things? You may take it lightly. Chalo chalta hai jeevan mein. So, if once in a while we are right and once in a while we are wrong, we don't care about it. We say, that's life. Otherwise, we take it on the average level. Or we stand strongly for the values. This is one level. On the light side. Then on the medium side, it's again like this. If you are the average person, you can take it lightly there. You can take it average there, or you can again strongly stand for those, or stand for against the wrong things. Then there's the Tiva, where you are always driven. That also, you will have some people with good stamina, but then slowly, like the tortoise. And then you'll get people medium, chalo jitna ho sakta hai, to whatever I can do, I'll do it. But 100% efforts are not there. Then you get those who are really adamant, 100% efforts. So if you take the free ranges, within each of them it becomes 9. And then we've taken manasa, vacha karmana, and we take the other one, which you do on your own, which you get done by others, and where the consent is. So free by free is 9, and again multiply by 9, you get 81. In the yoga philosophy, when I was at the Gurukul, Gurus ne kya bataya tha? They said, at each and every step of your life, take it this, 81 banana peels before you lift your foot to make a single step. This is the degree that you have to be careful with that. Yam Niyam, if you have to be adopting them in your lives, and go on that strong point where you stand for your values and you don't never will concede to that. If you have this concept anchored in your mind, and then the other concept that God is always watching upon us. When God is always watching upon us, so what do we do? Like the thief, he has a policeman following him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he commit blunders. So if we get that concept of Ishwar Pranidhan, that Ishwar is looking upon us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he knows our thoughts, he knows our words, he knows our actions. And we surrender to that Almighty Ishwar, or the force of nature, super energy, super consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I think there's no way we can err in our lives. And Bhartahari Ji concluded it brightly. Who knows this shlok? Can anybody sing it? Havishkrit? Okay. It says, Nindantu niti nipuna yadi vastuvantu Lakshmi samavishatu gacchatu vayatheshtam Adyaiva vamaranamastu yugantareva Nyayat patha pravichalanti padam nadira. Maharishi Dayananda has taken this shlok in Satya Prakash, the last part, Swamantavya, Amantavya Prakash. And this is what this shlok says. The learned person, I'm not saying the wise, because the wise tend also to be crooked. Learned person here is somebody who applies that knowledge within the practical of day-to-day life. He never deviates from the path of righteousness. Whether he be criticized or given name and fame, whether he becomes poor or rich, whether he faces imminent death or is likely to live 100 years, he will never go against the principles of righteous living. And Niyam gives you that. Any questions, please?
I joined late, but if we share the fruits of the Yama and Niyama, then they understand better the.
Yeah. I've talked about, I brushed about it when I was dealing with them. Some of them they already know, but the subtle way of how to go through them and what it brings to your life, I already did. So you see, This is what it is. You learn to live each day as if it is our last day. Someday will be right. Everybody will die. And each at his turn. And this is where it brings you. The snowball effect.
Could you explain the math equation again, the 3 times?
Yeah, I'll come to it. You see the snowball effect? It starts with a small ball. And when it rolls in snow down the mountain. It gathers more snow and becomes bigger and bigger in size. And when it becomes so big, then it creates what is on the right picture, the avalanche. You have a whole mountainside which goes with it. And that's very dangerous. So if you prepare yourself to be the snowball on Niyam and Niyam, respecting those values there, you'll be like the snowball. People will join you. Your parents, your relatives will join you. And when your relatives, friends, and parents will join you, you just imagine the snowball effect it will have on society. Society will become ideal society by itself. And be careful, this is essential in life, Atma-Nirikshan. Take a habit every day. Before you sleep, sit down in bed. Take 3 things which you did well. Just see how you can do it better next time when you have to do it. And take 3 things which went wrong, go into the details how it went wrong, and take the resolve there. That I would repeat the same blunders in life. Because there's a famous song of Mukesh, that's about 35 years back. Ik din bit jayega mati ke mol. This is very beautiful. It says, Dhara jo to behti hai, ban ke rehti hai, behti dhara ban ja, fir dunya se dol. What's teaching you? If you go with the flow, you'll be anybody in this world. But if you create your own path and leave your own footprints on the sense of time, then you'll really be remembered in this world. You don't be that anybody. Yes, that 9 by 9 was the free Manasa Vacha Karmana. The other 3 was Krit, Karit and Anubodhit. Then the other 9 were the free ranges between the mild, the medium and the strong. The mild, strong mild, medium mild and strong mild. The mild medium, medium and the strong medium. Then the mild strong, medium strong and strong strong. So if you take it 3 times 9, it becomes 81. I don't know, 9 is believed to be complete, but I say it comes here as complete in the formation of the real, true human being. Any other question? Especially from the young?
It's only $20.
I've been in so many of the interfaith and intercultural exchange meetings. When we start talking about that, you know what stuns people? Whatever is not without any dismeanor towards any of the others. The 10 commandments of the Bible will find it there. What is the real reform that people should do within themselves in Islam is there. And this was well before the coming into being of Jesus Christ. Islam is much more after. So Patanjali, what he did, he quoted that from the Vedas. That was the rishis. So can I put a question to you? How did I come to the 981? I want only the youth to reply, please. I will know whether at least you've grabbed something out of it, or you've understood everything or understood nothing. Yes. Yeah.
benign, mild, medium, strong, and then mild, medium.
Yeah, the combinations. Permutation and combinations. That's good. So again, I repeat. You're walking here, you find probably one ring with a diamond on the floor. We know well it should belong to one of the conference people. But instead of giving it to those who are on the managing this conference to be able to identify to who that belongs, and you put it in your pocket. Is that asteya or steya? Is that stealing or non-stealing? Yeah. You know, I will just give you the anecdote. We were in the Gurukul, and the Acharya was teaching that. He took one whole lecture of about 40 minutes to teach on the asteya. He told us, if you're walking on the street, you see a purse which is full. What do you do with it? Yeah, you don't know the owner.
Acharya जी यहाँ पे ऐसा भी बोलते हैं finders keepers.
And you know,
You said for some charity, but you don't know who it belongs to.
We should go after surrender to that person that who's managing in the case.
yeah, this is a conference, but you're walking on the street.
No, we can surrender to that's just the
Yeah, there are
all
people,
the
societies working on
for the street.
lost and found. Yeah, you can put it there. And
And sometimes some cards are inside.
yeah, this is what happened to me. We had a lecture in the afternoon. I went to Ahmedabad city from Rojan, and crossing the road, I saw a purse. And it was full of traffic. I just picked it up. On the other side was the police station. I told them, look, there's a person. They say, they'll wash me with this clothes. They couldn't reply, otherwise probably they would have taken me for a fool. But then I said, please look, if there's an ID, probably there's a phone number, you can just contact the person and ask them to pick it from you. Then there was the head of that police station. He said, okay. He looked into the purse and he found a card with a phone number. So that reached the person. So these are things where we take it and we start with small things like that. The beauty of life, when we grow. We'll grow into a big banyan tree with the values. You know the banyan tree? And when it grows older, it starts dripping down, and that becomes another tree, another tree, another tree. And there's one tree in India which I think covers more than 12 or 14 acres of land like this, somewhere in South India.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
Bangalore.
Yeah. So you grow to be a banyan tree, and you know how much shade you can give to others. That's the beauty of life. Thank you.